And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our second broadcast of the night. We just wrapped up with Sparkling Tuna Cup, and now we have returned with WTL, with World Team League 2024 Summer Code S Round 2, day number 3. It's been 3 grueling days of WTL action, and now we've returned with the final day of Round 2. And as we get ready for Round 2, a big shout out to TKL in the chat. Merci beaucoup, mate. I don't know much French, I'll be honest. I don't. But gracias, thank you so much for the raid. Hope you guys had a great stream. Hope you had a great cast, or a great session overall. Thank you so much. Again, for those who don't know, TKL, he is a fellow community caster, does cast in the French language. So we do appreciate the support. And welcome, everyone. Welcome to day number 3. Now, because we were casting Sparkling Tuna Cup, we are going to be a little bit behind. I think we're delayed by like 10 minutes or so we have some catching up to do. But up first here in this series, in tonight's matches, we have BASILISK versus KaiZi Gaming. We have our lineups. We have Jieshi versus ShoWTimE, Hero versus Reynor, and Oliveira versus Trigger. Oh boy. Now, BASILISK is a little bit different. They are BASILISK/Big, or BASILISK plus ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE has joined the ranks. For those that are curious as to why ShoWTimE joined BASILISK, Cyril is currently conducting his military service. Because of this, Cyril is not available on a weekly basis. If you've been watching EPT Spring, you would know that Cyril forfeited his placement in EPT Spring in the regionals. He is not competing in the regionals for the European region because he's busy with his military service. Likewise, he's not available on a weekly basis for WTL either. So BASILISK, they only have 3 players. They don't have a replacement, so they needed someone to fill the shoes of Cyril. That is ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE does step in, and here we have him. ShoWTimE versus Jieshi in the first best of 2. So again, that is the rationale, I believe, for BASILISK kind of expanding their ranks a little bit here. ShoWTimE isn't on BASILISK, but they have basically joined forces. They partnered up for WTL to make up for our otherwise lost player. And we're diving into game 1, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have, Jieshi for KaiZi Gaming. And in the top right, we have ShoWTimE for BASILISK. Let's go. The PvP zone end, by the way, we just wrapped up with a best of 5 between Christiana and Geralt. We just had an intense PvP. We had Shameless versus Christiana before that, and now the PvPs, they just keep on going, Papi. They keep on going. Jieshi versus ShoWTimE. Here we go. Now, ShoWTimE, of course, is one of the best Protoss players in all of Europe. He is, I would say, top 2 alongside MaxPax, but never underestimate these Chinese Protoss players. I'm talking about Jieshi, I'm talking about Cyan, I'm talking about Firefly. The Protoss triad, if you will, Jieshi, Firefly, and Cyan, they have all leveled up. They have all been threatening some of these otherwise established players. We've seen them take down MaxPax, we've seen them take down ShoWTimE, Hero. They are all deadly in PvP, and no one is safe. Not saying that Jieshi is favored, I'm not saying that. ShoWTimE is favored here, but Jieshi can definitely take games, maybe even a 2-0. Maybe I'm going too far saying that, but a 1-1 score is not unheard of. But now we're settling in. For now, we are settling in. We do have our 2 gate openers all around. Oh, the scouting probe gets killed? Ooh, that should not have happened, by the way. A big misstep already there by Jieshi, losing his first probe. That means he cannot delay the expansion. A good reaction from ShoWTimE right now would be to just take a faster base. Take a Nexus as quickly as possible. There is nothing to stop him. We can see that ShoWTimE is blocking the natural base of Jieshi, but Jieshi cannot do the same to ShoWTimE as he lost his probe. Zelda's being forced out as we speak. Ooh, ShoWTimE gets dragged out of position. We get the Nexus. Okay. Zelda is cancelled, Nexus is in production. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE, despite not having any kind of competition or any kind of hindrance, he's going for a Stargate. Okay, so double gas opener from ShoWTimE into a Stargate. Very safe play here from ShoWTimE into a later expansion. ShoWTimE making sure he's safe and secure, going for the initial Oracle. There's that Nexus now on the way. And Jieshi has yet to really invest into his own. Tech. Remember, because Jeshi's probe was killed, he hasn't seen the tech. He doesn't know what's happening. Doesn't know what ShoWTimE has on the way. And there we go, Oracle first from ShoWTimE. Jieshi, what are we going to be investing into? Now, we're loading into post-youth and the map is quite large, so the rush distance by air and by ground is a little bit longer. We may have some time here to prepare. There we go, Twilight Council from Jieshi is going into Blink Stalkers. Safety shield battery is on the way, thankfully, so even though Jieshi did not scout the tech, even though he didn't scout the Stargate, he's ready for Oracles in the mineral line. We have a shield battery in the main, we have 2 Stalkers at the natural, and because of this map, because of the layout, because both main or both the natural and the main are together, doesn't take long at all to rotate between them to defend. Doesn't take long at all. As Oracle dips in, Stalkers are in position, quick reaction out of ShoWTimE, he does pull back. Doesn't manage to pull back, second Oracle on the way. This is a big commitment here. ShoWTimE in favor, or the downside here is that he delayed his Twilight Council. He delayed his Twilight Council in favor of 2 Oracles. Big investment there by ShoWTimE. There's down the Stasis at the third, 2 Oracles, 1-shot probes. So a shield battery on its own is not good enough. Not against 2 Oracles. But there are Stalkers in position, Adept does shade in. Adept going for the worker. Oracles, they come in from behind. They focus down 1, 2, 3 probes. We got a 4th probe as well. A 5th, a 6th probe. Oh my god. 8 workers go down. And both Oracles survive. A massive amount of damage. And Jieshi, now in a bit of trouble. He does fall behind in the worker counts. And what is scary is that ShoWTimE, because he kept both Oracles alive, they can regenerate their energy, they can regenerate their shields, and they can go in again and get even more damage done. So the pressure is now on Jieshi. Now the downside now is that the map is working against him. Because of the rush distance, it's going to take so long to actually counterattack and to have a presence on the map. Blink, sure, it's on the way, but we're still a ways off. Jieshi is stuck at home. And we can see that ShoWTimE is getting ready to expand. ShoWTimE is getting ready for that third. You're welcome, mate. De nada, TKO, de nada. I say de nada. Thank you, thank you. Gracias. Ooh. As for now, Jieshi is still just amassing his Stalkers back at home. He's massing them up. We do see ShoWTimE just stabilizing back at home, getting to his third base, not skipping any warp-ins either, bear that in mind, so his Stalker count is looking quite high. Working on his blink, you can see that even though Jieshi had a faster blink, he was not able to make use of it. Not able to fully make use of that upgrade. Jieshi getting to his third, getting to his robo. Still down in workers. ShoWTimE being assertive on the map, and more than anything, I feel like he just wants to get a read on where the army is, pull the attention away for Jieshi towards that third, and as he pulls away the attention, here come the Oracles towards the natural. Remember what we spoke about, the Oracles, they can one-shot probes, they have regenerated their shields, they're looking to go back in. They're looking to dive back into that main base. ShoWTimE is committing good blinks here out of ShoWTimE, he's breaking through. Where's the shield battery? Oh, finishing up 1 second too late, or quite a number of seconds too late there. A good trade by ShoWTimE, and Jieshi is barely holding on. He's holding on by a thread. Does defend his main, but he lost another 2 probes. Both Oracles made it out once again. And we're trying to focus down Stalkers. Good blinks out of Jieshi, but there's still so much working against him. Does force the overcharge. Jieshi does hold. Does barely hold on. Doesn't want to be dragged out of position. Oh, doesn't want to overextend. Calm down, Jieshi. Calm down. We'll pull back. ShoWTimE looking for another way into these mineral lines. Dipping in with his Oracles, and he goes for the main. Gets 1 more probe. Tries to get out. Main army collapsing into the third. Oracle making the way to the mineral line as well. And it does look like ShoWTimE has too much. Does have quite a substantial army supply lead here. Breaks 2 Stalkers, is being forced back finally, but gets 5 more probe kills. And here come reinforcements. Now Jieshi, he is slowly recovering here, but ShoWTimE, upon being deflected, we take a fourth. We take a fourth base, and it's the gold as well. +1 is on the way. ShoWTimE catching up in upgrades. +2 starting up here for Jieshi. That's one of the big advantages that Jieshi has, is the better upgrades. Again, he's slowly catching up with his workers. The gold base is now on the way for Jieshi as well. ShoWTimE has to be careful. Moving out. We spoke about this earlier, but you cannot underestimate a player like Jieshi. He's even rocking a DKZ scarf. With the fourth base, he's out of position. It's going to be cancelled. A rough moment there for our blue Protoss. Not where he needs to be. Zealot's doing a great job here at tanking shots. We do focus down a couple of Stalkers. 3 Stalkers go down. Not bad. Jieshi getting ready for a Zealot counterattack. A Zealot drop into the main. Pylon gets shut down. You can see ShoWTimE rotate Stalkers into the main base in preparation. Yeah, safety cannons on the way. Gold base being retaken, but ShoWTimE is able to establish his own gold. Jieshi needs to do something about that base. He needs to do something about that gold. Now, there is going to be a timing. +2. There is going to be a big +2 timing available here for Jieshi. They could try to make use of. With his charged lopping Stalker. For now, he's clearing up pylons. ShoWTimE is aware of the army. Is aware of its location. Stalker is still ready in the main. Zealots have arrived, and Jieshi ignoring the gold, going for the natural. That's a lot of Zealots, by the way. Here we go. This is Jieshi's moment. He's even in Stalkers. He's up in Zealots. Army's out of position. We go for the shield batteries. And shield batteries are being targeted down, one after the other. Overcharge is spot. We focus down the shield battery. Good engage here by Jieshi. He has a high ground. He has a bit of concave. With that, he's mowing his way through the Zealots, but Zealots are falling from both players. ShoWTimE trying to engage here. The Zealots are finally cleaned up. Now it's Stalker v Stalker. We're coming in from behind as well. Jieshi getting surrounded. It's still such a close fight. We do reinforce with a handful of Zealots. But Jieshi, he has the higher Stalker count. He's breaking through. Up just barely, but we have reinforcements. More Zealots, they barely come in. Yeah, Jieshi has to back off. Does back off for a moment. But it looks like Jieshi barely has enough. Yeah, working his way through the Zealots. Again, without a shield battery, without an overcharge, that does impact this fight quite a bit. Some of the Stalkers not actually fighting, though. As Jieshi goes for a warp in into the main. Catches the Stalkers as well. Ooh, doesn't quite get them. Has to pull back. Zealots wreaking havoc. That's going to be 10 probe kills. Did I say 10? 14 workers go down. We bust into the natural, into the third. We go for the probes. We go for the prism as well. And ShoWTimE is being pulled apart. Again, ShoWTimE was so hyper-fixated on probing up, on saturating his gold base. Was down in that army, was down in those Zealots. On top of that, that was a very crisp timing with +2 that Jieshi did take advantage of. And now Jieshi's ahead. Despite the start of the game, Jieshi, he found himself with a worker lead. And with an army lead. And now the pressure is on ShoWTimE. Bearing in mind that +3 is also in favor of Jieshi. Just barely, to be fair. I think by like a second or two. Pretty even between the players, upgrade-wise. But Jieshi is coming in with his reinforcements. Coming in with the Immortal. We have force fields. But only 2. It's not going to be good enough. Shield battery was not replaced. We do have us around. Jieshi in an awkward position here. Trying to bust in with those Immortals. Again, caught in an awkward sandwich. Has to pull back. Doesn't overextend. Doesn't want to throw away those Immortals. Shield battery does finish. Overcharge is popped. We have to respect it. We have to back off. Zealots are going to be going down. Immortal hooking a little bit exposed as well. Reinforcements on the way. Again, where's that warp prism, by the way? It looks like we did not rebuild. There it is. I was like, where's the prism? Without the warp prism, Jieshi can't really push in. Yeah, more shield batteries on the way. Overcharge is on cooldown. We have a second and a third shield battery at the natural. Or at the third, sorry. I keep calling it the natural. Just so used to it. But yeah, soon to be 3 shield batteries at that third base. But again, Jieshi still maintains his lead. We do have a Stalker hit squad towards the left-hand side. We go for the Prism. Big snipe. Big moment for ShoWTimE. If it wasn't for that, it could all be over here and now. I mean, it could still be. Yeah, we're coming in for the surround. Immortals suck fighting Zealots. Zealot army is being cleaned up. Immortals going ham on the Stalkers. Overcharge is spelled once again. And ShoWTimE holds. ShoWTimE, he does hold on. He dives on the Immortals. Gets 1, gets 2. Up. Barely gets the second Immortal as well. Did get a lot of hits in though. Again, Jieshi's had such a big advantage for so long, but he just barely cannot kill ShoWTimE. He's trying though. Bust into the main. Again, ShoWTimE has been holding on barely for the past couple of minutes. It's been impressive. Any other player, they would have already fallen. But there it is. GG gets called. There's still too much to overcome, and Jieshi, he does bounce back, taking game. Oh, Bahi, the Stalker. Let's go. This cardboard Stalker, G. The pressure is now on ShoWTimE. Can he bounce back? I mean, a map like Side Delta, I'm feeling Phoenix Wars, but here we go. In the bottom right-hand corner, we have Jieshi for Dragon KaiZi Gaming. And in the top left, we have ShoWTimE for BASILISK. Here we go. Now, because we're loading into Side Delta, this leads into a very certain kind of PvP dynamic. Gate expands. Because there's a ramp leading into the natural, it is very common to go for a gate expand. But a straight up gate expansion, like a gateway into Nexus, is very greedy, and more often than not, a way to go for a gate expand is to go for a gateway, get into 2 gases, into a cyber core, into a Stargate, before Nexus. Now, if we go for that particular build from both players, then this will lead into Phoenix Wars, because both players go into Stargates, both players scout each other, and both players need to make Phoenixes in that situation. So we'll see if anyone deviates. For now, we do have our probes moving out, so they're going to be delaying the expansions from both Jieshi and ShoWTimE. They dip into the main. We do confirm both gases. So ShoWTimE opens up double gas. Jieshi went singular gas, so Jieshi being a little bit greedy. You can see Jieshi has 400 minerals, and he's denied. Yeah, big moment here for ShoWTimE. He denies the expansion. Jieshi is forced to be a little bit more inefficient. He's forced to make a Zealot. I mean, so is ShoWTimE. Cybercore is on the way. Jieshi just banking up here for that expansion. It does look like Jieshi again. He did want to go for the Nexus first, and yeah, he's being denied it. ShoWTimE being more efficient with his build. You can see Jieshi banking up 500 minerals. Oh, this is brutal. Jieshi refusing to take a second gas geyser. ShoWTimE confirms he goes for another pylon block as well. And there's the Stargate on the way for ShoWTimE. And again, there should have been a Stargate on the way for Jieshi as well. But he has been a little bit stubborn here. And he can finally expand. Now he takes a second gas. But there's a Nexus on the way. So Jieshi technically has a more economic build because of the faster Nexus, but it's only faster by like 2 seconds, and ShoWTimE has a Stargate that's about to finish. So I'm liking ShoWTimE's position much more than Jieshi's. You can see Jieshi fully wall off at the gateway, getting into his second gas. Now, because he was so stubborn there, because we didn't go into a second gas, into a Stargate, we are not entering Phoenix Wars. That is not happening, thankfully. But overall, I do like ShoWTimE here. Oracle's on the way. Stargate gets scouted and confirmed by Jieshi. Is aware. Probe is locked in. There we go. He canceled the gateway. Going for a Twilight Council follow-up. Ooh, a ShoWTimE Void Ray. That tells us that ShoWTimE is scared of an all-in. He's a little bit paranoid here. Void Ray is otherwise unnecessary unless you believe there's an all-in coming your way. But with this Oracle Scout, we should confirm what's going on. We do see the saturation, but I believe we did miss the tech. He did not see the Twilight Council. So Void Ray is finishing up. ShoWTimE just being very safe. Twilight Council's done for Jieshi, getting into Blink. I believe getting to a 3-gate setup. And we'll see how this dynamic works out here. How does this work out? As ShoWTimE can always threaten the bases. Void Ray moves out across the map as well. We're pushing out. Bold move here by ShoWTimE. Does move out with the Void Ray. Does hit the natural, going for the pylon. Not gonna get it though. Stalker is focused down. We did try to micro back, but at last we weren't able to save it. Stasis Trap does pop off on the Zealots. As the Void Ray will escape. Oracle tries to dip in, but ooh, we are in position. Jieshi, always here with a handful of Stalkers in both mineral lines. Does not take any damage from the Oracle. Very nice defense from Jieshi. And behind this, we have a Forge on the way. That's going to be for +1. We're doubling down on Blink Stalkers. And I kind of like Jeshi's position now. Again, it was an awkward start, don't get me wrong. It was a very awkward start, but we have a third on the way. We have faster Blink for Jieshi. The Oracle is keeping him pinned back at home. That is true, but outside of that, there's a nice timing available where he has Blink and ShoWTimE does not. Where Jieshi could try to punish that third. Zelda is coming in for a scout. Jieshi will confirm a third is on the way. Does confirm its location. And does Jieshi try to punish it? Does he try to apply any pressure here, or does he just back off, wait for his upgrades, and settle in towards the mid-game? And it looks like that is going to be the answer here. Jieshi just making extra workers. Robo's on the way. Is moving out with his Stalkers. But I'm not sure if he can really get much done. Again, that window is closing. The window where Jieshi has Blink and ShoWTimE doesn't, it's going to close in like 30 seconds. Yeah, Jieshi pulls back. Pulls back in the end. Meanwhile, that's quite a gateway explosion. That's 5 gates on the way. I believe that's 8 in total, alongside charge. That is a hefty gate count here from Jieshi. This tells us that he's not really intending to get into much like Immortal or Archon production for now, just mass gateway army for our blue Protoss player. Stalkers do clash. Better concave for Jieshi. Does get a lot of hits in. Doesn't kill any Stalkers, but does soften them up. ShoWTimE has to pull back. Now, Jieshi has fast +1, but really I'm looking towards his +2 timing. +1 kicks in. Where is that +2? You have a robot on the way. Jieshi focusing on his War Prison. There you go. +2 has begun for Jieshi. Do love to see it. Is moving out, coming across the army, has to back off. Again, I'm liking this +2 timing from Jieshi overall. Not being too aggressive yet. Now is not our time. Armies are building up. Bases are saturated. ShoWTimE getting to his own +1 does catch a good chunk of Stalkers, and he does move out to try to punish this. Uh-oh. Yeah, Jieshi has to respond. A fight is going to be forced. ShoWTimE trying to catch these Stalkers, Jieshi trying to save them. War Prison's behind this. Yeah, ShoWTimE backs off. Both armies arrive. ShoWTimE wants none of that, does back off for now. Again, still just posturing. rotating around. Jieshi moving out towards that fourth. Going for a big warp in. Warping in Zealots, warping in Stalkers. +2 is almost done here for Jieshi. And that's going to be his moment. The Observer. The Observer does get sniped. Nice pickle. Jieshi's going to have a harder time keeping up with the rotations of ShoWTimE. Has to gamble a little bit more. Ooh, there is a stasis trap as well. Does catch the army. Yeah, big stasis. +2 is done, but we are missing that window. +2 on the way for ShoWTimE. Can we catch up? We can see Jieshi committing here towards that north. Diving the army does focus on both these shield batteries. He gets one, then the other. But he bleeds out a lot of Zealots in the process. Falling back to the high ground. I mean, +2 is coming in. Or he's kicking in. Is helping Jieshi out, but he did waste a lot of shots earlier. Did waste a lot of shots. Zealots are going down. Stalkers are engaging as well. There's no backup overcharge. There's no backup shield battery. Void Ray finally goes down. We go for the reinforcements. Jieshi needs more Zealots, needs more warp-ins. He has the better concave. The overcharge coming in clutch. But there may just still be too much here. Yeah, Jieshi is busting on through. We spoke about this earlier. We've seen Jieshi take down players like ShoWTimE in the past, and he's doing it again. Or is he? Up. It's still close. The Stalkers of Jieshi, they're so low. There's so many in the red. We dive on forward. We aggressively blink on ShoWTimE. GG gets called. We pop off, and Jieshi takes game number 2 in the series. 2-0. Oh my god. We're gone, papi. Jieshi popping off. Where's the Stalker? GG. Oh my god. GG. Well played. Again, so many, I'm sure, believed in ShoWTimE. So many, I'm sure, don't watch enough. Oh my, he just turns off the Zoom call. The Wonder Boy. He's out of here. He's got somewhere to be. GG, papi. GG, well played. A strong start. A very strong start here for DKZ, for Dragon KaiZi Gaming. Jieshi with the 2-0 over ShoWTimE. Now, what is scary? The scariest thing about what just happened is that Jieshi is the weakest link. He's the weakest link in his team. BASILISK needed ShoWTimE to take a game. To at least take one game against Jieshi, because this is not going to get easier. Up next, we have Hero versus Reynor. This is going to be a rematch. We last saw them face off a couple of weeks ago in ESL Open Cup Asia, and Hero had his way with Reynor. So I'm a little bit concerned for this matchup. We'll see if Reynor spices things up with like a Protoss off race or something. But yeah, this is a big win here for DKZ. A big win for Dragon KaiZi Gaming. Can BASILISK bounce back? Can they bounce back? The pressure is on. Now, of course, Reynor is residing in South Korea, so it's going to be we're going to be even on ping, so there's no ping excuse to fall back on or anything like that, as both players are in Korea. And here we go. Ooh, we are smurging a little bit here. Reynor with the hoodie up. He's got his hoodie up. Hero, he's coming soon. We're featuring his chair at the moment, his lovely chair on the left-hand side. Game 1 is going to be on Alkione in this PVZ. Yeah, Hero also flaunting his jersey. Let's get their ELOs. I mean, the ELOs do favor Reynor, that is true, but I do think that Hero has been a little bit more in form recently, but we'll see as we're loading in. And in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Hero for Dragon KaiZi Gaming. And in the top right, we have Reynor for BASILISK. Oh boy. Of course, Reynor, over a month ago now, almost 2 months ago, did move to Korea to compete in GSL, did qualify for GSL, is taking part and has been on that Korea arc, has been improving, has been laddering, has been streaming quite a lot, and we're going for a 15-15. A very safe opener out of Reynor. 15 hatchery into the 15 spawning pool. It is going to be delayed gases as a result. Hero setting up for his own gate expand. Probe Scout confirms that the hatchery has been taken. Hero confirms that the goal base has not. It has become, I wouldn't say common, but Every now and then we've seen Zerg players be spicy and be crazy and go for the gold as their natural. Players like Dark, players like Shin, players like DRG, even Young Yakov more recently. Reynor as well, he's done it as well. So, but not this time. Not this time on Alkyone. Hero does confirm. As Reynor's just going for a safe build. Again, the downside of this opener for Reynor is late link speed. Because link speed is delayed a little bit more, it means that he has less aggressive options. He's less active on the map, but more secure instead, with a higher queen count. So there is a bit of a give and take here for Reynor. As we are settling into our game. Again, nothing too crazy outside of the openers. You know, Hero's just taking his expansion. This should be a Stargate-based opener. Oh, this is interesting. Hero, he delays Warp Gate. Okay, so Hero, he intentionally delayed Warp Gate here. He reveals that to the Overlord of Reynor that you can see outside the natural. Warp Gate has been delayed, so he's selling a story. He's making it look like a Stargate opener when really it's a Twilight Council. So Reynor is being fed false information here. Right now, the last thing on his mind is the Twilight Council. That is concerning. With this, we can go a couple of different ways. This could be this could be Glaives, or it could even be Dark Shrine. It could be DTs. Dark Templar could be on the way. How does Reynor stream from Korea on Twitch? Didn't Twitch leave Korea due to country's traffic policies? He might use a VPN. I don't know. I'm not sure as to the specifics, but Reynor does stream on Twitch. Might just be a VPN thing, where he just kind of bypasses that. I'm not sure. that's something to ask Reynor. Unless he's already said it on stream. Maybe some other people have some insights as to that. Meanwhile, 3 gates are on the way. Robo as well. We don't have Glaives yet. We haven't seen the main base. We haven't had a look at the gases, so I'm uncertain. But there it is. Glaives is in production for Hero, so it's going to be 4-gate Glaive Adepts from our Protoss player. Thankfully, Reynor is going for a safety Roach Warren. He does sniff this out. That is going to be a 345 Roach Warren, very early actually from Reynor. So he will have Roaches in time to fend off against these Adepts. Now, Lings are amassing. Reynor cutting drones here at 39. SimCity here at the natural. So far, so good. Here come the Adepts. This Hero does hit the field. You can see Reynor trying to go for a counterattack. Running into the Adepts themselves. Does confirm. As he spots every single Adept. Roaches are amassing. Safety Spore Crawlers on the way just in case it is Dark Templar. Since I believe it's a matter of where the contract is reattached. And Reynor's contract should be the European one. Okay. There you go. It might be associated with your account as the Adepts. They do shade in. Shade in between the bases. Lings, they collapse on the Adepts. Lings are being annihilated, but thankfully we have Roaches. We have Roaches to force this back. They do come out in time. Adepts, they shade towards the main, and looks like there are just not enough Roaches to stop this. Warping into the main as well. Drones are going down. We're getting 4, 5 worker kills so far as we shade towards the natural. We even pick off the queen, and we're not done. The Adepts are getting low. We have yet to warp in another wave of reinforcements. It's going to be 8 dead workers for the time being. And Reynor does deflect this. But honestly, 8 workers is pretty damn good. Like, Hero does have a worker lead. And remember, 4-gate Glaive Adepts is not an all-in. It's not an all-in here at a Hero. Ling round by delays the 3rd, but it is now being taken. Okay, Hero is expanding behind this. He does back off. Now, Reynor does survive, but he's not out of the woods yet. Hero going for the Overlord. Adepts rotating back in. keeping an eye on the roaches. Reynor has droned up to 45, but he has yet to make any more workers. We'll keep an eye on Reynor here to see if he does end up droning anymore. Hero going for a follow-up push, though. He may have a third base, but we have an Immortal. We have more Adepts warping in. Now, thankfully, Reynor wasn't over-droning. He has an army. He has Ravagers being morphed in as well. But is it enough? Because again, that is 2 Immortals. And they dive on the roaches. The Immortals, they go ham. They get a lot of damage dealt. Only 1 Ravager. Did Epsay shade in? Uh-oh. Did Epsay shade into the main base? The Immortals are a little bit exposed, but we do pick them up. We should have saved the Immortals. And that is a lot of drones going down. Oh, this is becoming too much. 9 workers fall. 10, 11. That's 19 drone kills in total. As it's 11 plus the 8 from earlier. And we did save the Immortals. Oh, this is scary. Again, Reynor taking a massive blow to his economy. And the problem here is that, do we counterattack? We don't have a lair. No lair, which means no roach speed. We have 3 Immortals. We're going for another push. Here comes round 3. And this is a terrifying army. Reynor confirms the 3rd. He is morphing in 2 more Ravagers, which will help. But what's worrisome here is his economy. He had to re-drone, which means that much less roaches, that many less lings. Hero pushing his way through the center. In between the bases, the Adepts, they look to commit. They do commit! We commit to shade. 7 more drones go down in the blink of an eye. Reynor going for the Immortals, but Hero, he's paying attention, does juggle them back. And he shades back to reinforce those Immortals as well. Very nice movement here out of Hero. Not losing a single Immortal in that fight. Taking down 7 drones, taking down a lot of roaches. And again, without roach speed, Reynor, he can't really counterattack. As Hero, he's taking the gold. I mean, Hero doesn't even need a 4th, to be honest. Doesn't even need a 4th base, but we may as well just take the gold. Adepts, they bust into the main. We get 3 drone kills. We do clean this up, though. That's 4 Adepts for 4 drones. A much better trade for Reynor. Maybe like his best trade so far, but oh, look at that units lost. That is 30 workers killed this game. Ay, ay, ay. And we can see that Reynor, he's not going for an all-in. I was about to say that we have to make a choice. Do we go all-in, or do we try to macro back up and try to catch back up? And Reynor, he's droning. He's droning. He's throwing down an infestation pit. It looks like Reynor wants to try to recover. Which means this goal base from Hero is not going to be punished. This goal base, it's going to get up and running, which means Hero's going to get further ahead here in the economy. Now, how do we bounce back? You know, there's potentially burrowed roach harass, like tunneling claw roaches, there's baneling run-bys, ling run-bys, drop a lord play. Right now, we're taking up into a hive. This could be to gain access into Vipers, which could work quite well. Vipers are a great supportive unit, but really the onus is on Reynor to try to bounce back as Hero is pushing out for wave 4. It's round 4. The Immortal count has been building up the entire game. Jesus, that is 6 Immortals with the main army. Roaches don't cut it. Not anymore. Not against 6 roaches. Adepts shade in. Good target firing at a Hero. He gets 3, he gets 4, he gets 5. 5 more drones go down for 2 Adepts. This time a better trade for Hero, as opposed to the 1-to-1 trade we had earlier. Here we go. Do you have the Overseer busting into the main? Trying to get a scout off. Trying to get a read on what exactly is in the follow-up. Disruptors in production for Hero. Meanwhile, Reynor is trying to squeeze out Lurkers. I mean, that is the way to recover. That is the way to turtle. But we need time. The Lurker Den is halfway done. But Hero, he's here and now in the face of Reynor. With a supply lead. What I mean by that is that, sure, the army supplies are similar, but Reynor, he has inflated supply with roaches. So we do bust in with the Colossus. Immortals are pushing through. Adepts, they threaten a counterattack towards that natural, keeping roaches busy. The vials are going to be connecting, but we blink on forward. Aggressive blink here at Hero. He smells blood in the water. He knows that there's not enough here to defend. GG gets called, and Hero takes game number 1. GG. A very solid game here out of Hero. Again, from the get-go, he was able to hide his initial build. Reynor did respond with an early Roach Warren. Remember, it was a 3:45 Roach Warren timing from Reynor, so it was a good Roach Warren timing, and he didn't lose too many. He lost 8 drones initially, which is less than ideal, but manageable. The problem was the counterattack, or the follow-up. Remember, after the initial push, he came back in with 2 Immortals and he killed another 11 drones. That was the problem. The follow-up push did far too much in the follow-up. Reynor, of course, with the delayed lair, he could not counterattack, could not do anything there to Hero. Hero was just in control, and with that, Hero is 1 game away from winning this for DKZ. Dragon KaiZi Gaming, they're up 3-0. They are up 3-0, and 1 more is all they need. Uno más, papi, uno más. And that map is going to be Post-Youth. Okay, it is Reynor's map of choice. Let's go. Is Reynor washed? Not at all. Hero is the best Protoss in the world. I would stand by that. Based on how Hero's been performing in GSL, in IM Katowice, in Masters Coliseum, like, Hero, he's the best you can offer when it comes to Protoss. And here he is, Hero for Dragon KaiZi Gaming. And in the top right, we have Reynor for BASILISK. Let's go. It is difficult for anyone to go up against Hero. Likewise, to be fair, Reynor is also one of the best Zerg players in the world. To be fair. 2 Titans do collide, but alas, Hero has been on fire as of late. Again, coming in second in the most recent GSL, he was the best performing Protoss in IM Katowice. He came second in Masters Coliseum, second only to Serral, for those who don't remember at the start of the year. Hero has been on fire. I think a lot of people they don't recall these results from Hero just because he hasn't been winning, right? It's like Hero only came second in Masters Coliseum to Serral. Washed. Or Hero only came second in GSL to Maru. Washed, baby, washed. True. So yes, Hero hasn't been winning these events, but has been having some deep runs. Has been looking very impressive. Yo, we don't have to talk about the Golden Aura game at IM Katowice between Cure. Like, Hero versus Cure at IM was smudged, baby, was smudged. We don't have to talk about that. But even then, Hero did well for himself there in that tournament. So now we're settling in. Now, because we're on Post-Youth, we can cut some corners. You know, Reynor, he has a free pocket base. He can go for the gold as a 3rd or as a 4th. So we'll see how Reynor does approach this. And I'm hoping we can recover. You know, I'm hoping that Reynor can bounce back here in game number 2. I'm hoping for an extended series. No one wants a 4-0. In either direction, whether it's BASILISK or DKZ, no one does want a 4-0. We still have another best of 2 after this. The pressure is on Reynor, and Reynor, he needs your support in the chat to bounce back. Does need it back. As for now, we're getting into our openers. Hero going for a Stargate. This time he did delay his Warp Gate, but it is not to hide any tech, not to go into a Twilight Council, for example. It is going to be Stargate from Hero. A much more standard build this time. There's no Glaive Adept shenanigans going on from the side of Hero. No need to worry about that. Gonna be Stargate into most likely Oracle. Now, you could go Void Ray instead, or even Phoenix. They're a little bit less common, but a Void Ray or Phoenix-based opener would be designed to hunt down the Overlords and to keep the tech hidden, which Hero does like to mix in every now and then, just to keep his Zerg opponent guessing. Overlord has been spotted, but the Overlord should be able to float away into the dead space. It is going to be the Oracle first from Hero. It is Oracle first. Meanwhile, Reynor going for a 3-minute 40 Roach Warren. Ooh, that is very early. Okay, so, oh god. That's a Skytoss Rush. Double Stargate. Okay, so, a lot's going on right now. A lot is going on. On the one hand, we went Oracle first, so we can't actually deny many of these scouts. It's going to be difficult. The Overlord, it does slip in, but the Overlord is going to be shut down. What did we see? We did see some of the tech there. We saw the gateway. We did not see the Stargate or the Fleet Beacon. Reynor's in the dark. Despite not going for a Void Ray, Hero, he does hide his tech, and we're rushing into Skytoss. Now, what is scary here is Reynor went for a fast Roach Warren, and again, that was designed to defend against Glaive Adepts, or DTs. So a very safe opener from Reynor, but we didn't need that safe opener because it was an Oracle opener. So Reynor a little bit scarred, a little bit frazzled after game 1, concerned. I don't blame him, and we're rushing into Tempest of all things. It is going to be a Tempest rush from Hero. Now, typically the way this works is that we're not rushing necessarily into Skytoss. This should be for 4 Tempests. We should be going up to 4 Tempests, and we should be transitioning into Gateways, into a Twilight Council, into Ground Toss. That's usually how this goes. I'm curious if that's what how Hero will approach this. This is a Classic build. If you remember, Classic, he showcased this and he popularized this last year. It was last year, November, in GSL. It was the final season of GSL of 2023. Where Classic did kind of flex this, and Classic would do this game after game all throughout December, leading into January as well, and a lot of other Protoss players picked it up. Since IM, we've barely seen this, but here we go. The Tempests do reveal themselves. Forge is on the way. Overlord goes down. We force out Aspire. Tempest, they deny the gold. Aspire is on the way. Now, initially, this build is designed to force an overreaction and force a mass amount of Corruptors. And we go for a Ground Toll switch. I'm curious if that's going to be the case for Hero, as we have yet to take up. Void Ray behind this. Tempest get caught out. Hero asleep at the wheel. Yeah, he was paying attention elsewhere. One Tempest goes down. Big pick off here from Reynor. As we go for a counterattack, we have a handful of Roaches, a handful of Lings. Another Tempest wanders in. Hero. Again, has to be careful here. That Ling run by did work wonders for Reynor. Did kill a Tempest as a result. And we have Void Rays behind this. I don't see a Twilight Council yet. I also don't see a 3rd Stargate yet either. So I'm curious where Hero takes this. Spire's almost done. But this base should be cancelled. Ooh, it does not finish, thankfully. And we're going for +1 air attack. Hero, are we doubling down into Skytoss? It looks to be the case. Okay, no Ground Toss transition. As you see Hero rotating back around, getting a couple of hits in. Does force another cancel on the 4th. Catches a Queen. Corruptors are on the way, and Hero should soon leave. He should know that his time is soon to be up. Ooh, that's a kill! That's a kill, not a cancel in the hatchery. Ay, ay, ay. That is a brutal pick of 300 minerals down the drain. And now Hero, he's content. He's running back home. He's racing back home where we are amassing Void Rays. And what's scary here is that what is good against Corruptor? The Void Ray, Bobby. The Void Ray, they just shut Corruptors down. But here they go. They're trying to hunt down the Tempest. Void Rays are still amassing. We do have Flux Veins on the way. +1 attack? Ground attack here. Ground weapons for Hero. We spoke about that Ground Toss transition, and that +1 attack is the first sign of it. Remember, we have still not seen a 3rd Stargate. So I'm still curious as to where Hero leads us as he's taking a 4th. Okay, there it is. 3rd Stargate. Okay. We have our answer. 3rd Stargate. Mothership's on the way. Yeah, just straight up Skytoss. Let's go. Whew. Okay. Nothing too fancy with this from Hero. Just rushing into Skytoss to support this with Void Rays. Meanwhile, what's scary for Reynor is his 4th. His 4th was denied over and over again. Big delay in his economy. As a result, Hero was able to maintain himself. Reynor unable to max out, not yet. But with these Corruptors, Reynor, he has control of at least his side of the map. And thankfully, Reynor did not overextend. If he tried to chase down these Tempests, he would have lost them. He would have lost his Corruptors. So thankfully, Reynor playing it safe. Getting into his Roaches. We have Roach speed on the way. Lings are amassing. Bailing speed as well. Now we have a Twilight Council on the way, but I think that Twilight Council might just be for a Temple Archives. typically Skytoss on its own is fragile. Skytoss needs support. The best support for Skytoss is Archon and Storm. Archons, they can punish the Corruptors. Storms, Archons and Storms are ideal against Ling Bane. If we encounter a more Roach-heavy composition, that's where we need Immortals to support on the ground. Even Disruptors. There's that Temple Archives on the way. So again, that is going to be for Storm and for Archon production. Adepts, do shade in. They do focus on a couple of drones, but nothing too major. They get an eye on the army. Reynor, he's pushing, he's maxed out. Let's go. The Queens are here to add some support. They can transfuse the Corruptors as long as we have some creep. And here come the Overlords. Here comes the creep. And I'll be honest, I'm not too convinced here that Hero can defend. Not without some splash damage. And we don't have Colossi or Disruptors or Storm. Not yet. And here come the Bailings. A massive amount of Bailings. The wall is wide open as well. The Hero wall. Bailings, they crash on in. They shut down the base. The gold will fall. We avoid the Novas. Oh, sorry, we avoid the Vials. Voiders are going ham on the Corruptors as well, but the Lings, they wreak havoc in the mineral line. 35 probes go down, and Hero, he may hold on to that gold base, or he may hold on to that position, but the economy is in shambles. 38 probes go down. Hero trying to take a fight, force take a fight here against Queens. Does take down all the Corruptors, to be fair. Hunting down the Queens. Voiders are getting picked off the transfuse, a little bit too good. We file down the Mothership. Mothership does fall. And Hero's all in. Completely all in at this point. And it's not going to be enough. It's not going to work out. Reynor, he has a good enough economy. He has a strong enough ground army as well. We are looking to extend this series. We're not going down without a fight. It's not going to be a 4-0. I mean, the Void Ray count is still looking good. Don't get me wrong. But the problem is that Hero has no economy. Hero, he cannot sustain himself. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Reynor, as he's reinforcing with more Corruptors, more Queens. The Void Rays, they've gained ground, don't get me wrong. Like, the Void Rays, they've done a lot for themselves. They force back the army, but again, Hero needs to end the game with what he has. Takes down a couple of Lings. Reinforcing with Archons. Again, these Archons, they were needed a couple of seconds sooner. They were needed for that previous fight. They were too little too late. As we do see Reynor pushing off of creep, has to be careful. And clutch transfused here on the Corruptors. Void Rays are going down one after the other. We're down to 3 Void Rays. And Reynor, he has done it. Hands off the keyboard. GG gets called. And Reynor, he does fight back. Whew, puts a point on the board. Reynor, not as jovial as we usually see him, and again, I'm sure he's not happy about the loss in Game 1, but he does keep the chances, the dreams of Basilisk alive. Whew. GG. GG, well played, Basilisk. They are still in this, very much so. We go 1-1 with Hero. Very well played there by Reynor as well, able to deal with the initial Tempest. Again, there was a big moment. If you remember, the big moment there was Hero losing his first Tempest. He was distracted by the Ling Roach counterattack. One Tempest went down initially. It did give Reynor a little bit more breathing room, and I love that Reynor wasn't too ambitious after that. Remember, he had the option to try and chase down those Tempests. He didn't. He just backed off, just let the Tempest retreat. He was able to get his goal base up and running. He was able to get into 70 workers, 75 drones, I believe. Around 75 workers. And then max out with his Roach Ravager, bring his Queens forward, went for the kill. Hero, his build was really odd. If you remember, for a long time, I was waiting. Let us go. Oliveira versus Trigger coming up next here. And the pressure is on Trigger. The pressure is on. He needs to win this 2-0 to force the ace match. And here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Oliveira for Dragon KaiZi Gaming. And in the top right, we have Trigger for Basilisk. We go. Why did Hero pick Reynor and GSL? I mean, Hero did recently beat Reynor as well in a best of 5. I do think that, yeah. I think that makes sense. as we are settling into our final best of 2. Again, if Trigger wins this 2-0, then we can get into the ace match. We can get into that final game. I would argue that Hero probably has the best PvZ in the world. I think I rate his PvZ higher than MaxPax. I think I rate MaxPax's PvP better than Hero's. It's hard to say. That very different styles of PvP, so it's hard to compare them. I think that's what I like about MaxPax and Hero, is that they have two very distinct different playstyles. So that does allow for like discussion and argumentation to be had between the two of them. Which I do appreciate. As I think everyone would agree that Hero is more aggressive than MaxPax. MaxPax greedier, more macro-oriented. It's kind of like Hero and like Stats back in the day, for example. Or like Rain and Zest. Like you have like the yin and the yang of Protoss. One is more aggressive, the other is more macro. It's like Nice and Haas in Taiwan, you know. There's other examples of that out there. As we do have Oliveira going for that goal base. Bold move here by Oliveira. So let's settle into our game. Bold move by Oliveira. So we're loading into Dynasty. Dynasty has a pocket gold, and in some of these matchups like TVT, PvP, and TVP, it is considered very unsafe to take that gold. All it takes is a couple of Adepts, a couple of Blink Stalkers, or even regular Stalkers to harass and punish that gold. So Oliveira, a very bold move to rush into it. We'll see if he can maintain it. That is the big question here. Can Oliveira maintain that goal base? As the Reaper gets across the map, he gets a full scout. He does confirm the Twilight Council opener from Trigger. Does confirm the opener. Yeah, and Oliveira also confirming that there is no goal base from Trigger either. The Reaper should be shut down. Like, there's no escape from here. Yeah, the Reaper is hunted down by that Adept. Good peek off there by Trigger. Meanwhile, Oliveira trying to get his goal base up and running. You can see the Adept is in position, denying the mining. Cyclone has arrived. We can force this back. Now, usually we've seen Terran players prioritize a tank, and you get a tank in position in the mineral line, and you can defend that gold. Speaking of, Tech Lab is finishing up, and the first tank should be on the way. There we go. Tank is on the way. Interesting. Oliveira going for a 2-1 before starport. Okay. So Oliveira, he delays his starport in favor of the second rack, so we're rushing into faster stim. Very fast stim here from Oliveira. Now this can lead into a 2-base all-in. Doesn't have to be, but we have seen this turn into a 2-base all-in variation. Regardless, a very aggressive build from Oliveira, as he delays his drop potential and his drop play in favor of massing up an army. Adepts, they do get 2 SCVs. Again, we're vying for control of the mineral line. Tank is getting within range, and we spoke about it. We have seen a lot of Terran players make use of this tank position to protect that mineral line. As we can see, Trigger throwing down a proxy gate across the map. How many gateways do we have? I think 4. Yeah. We have 1 in the main, we have 2 at the natural, 1 proxied. So 4 gate blink from Trigger. A very aggressive build. Very aggressive here. Trigger, he's looking to break the natural. Tank pulling back a little bit. I do appreciate that. They're probably going to be going off. We do focus on a couple of SCVs. Bunker is on the way. Now, what's important here is we do not get another worker, is that with Blink, Trigger doesn't have to break the natural. He could rotate over towards the main. Like, he doesn't have to push here. He could try to find another way in instead. As we go for another reinforcing warp in. The warp prism is stuck at home. I was waiting for it. We need that prism for high ground vision. As we do pick up another 3 SCVs, good target firing at a Trigger. There we go. Prism is now moving out. I think it was a bit of a miss rally from Trigger, so we have to wait a little bit longer to get that vision going. Basically, whether it's the Observer or the Prism, we need that high ground vision to bust into the main. And Oliveira's looking a little bit more vulnerable there. As Trigger does rotate around, he's going to get a depot, at least. Now, we'll give Oliveira a little bit of time to respond. At the same time, Trigger going to be harassing that mineral line as well. Does supply block Oliveira. Nice moves. We do get a big supply block here on Oliveira. Stalkers are being forced back. SCVs are going down. We get the lock on that War Prism as well, though. He's going for the stim. Oh, he's going for the stim, but he will not get it. The Prism will escape. And Oliveira, he's chasing this really far out, by the way. He's getting surrounded. Oliveira in a precarious situation. Okay, he does pull back. Doesn't commit. Medevac's a little bit exposed. Oliveira dancing with the army. When Trigger finally does back off. Now, what's a little bit scary here is that Trigger did not kill any tanks. He did get some depots, of course. He got, I want to say 9 workers. I want to say around 9 SCVs, which wasn't too bad either. But these are gold minerals, so Oliveira's recovering. That's the scary thing here. Because it's a gold base, he's recovering. He's able to make up for his dead workers. 3rd CC on location. Trigger, likewise, getting his own gold as well. But now Oliveira can break out. Now he has Stim. Now Oliveira can vie for map control. So we have a very tense situation here. We do pick off another worker. We're going for a drop, but Trigger, he sees everything. Has an observer on the army. Does spot the drop. Observer getting sniped. With that, Oliveira should back off. As Trigger had eyes on everything, and yeah, his Stalkers are in position to shut down those medevacs. Ghost Academy on the way. Trigger, likewise, has to be careful to overextend as well. Waiting for his Immortal. Behind this, we have the base, so Trigger is working towards Colossi and Disruptors. He's not there yet, but he's getting there. We are getting there. Yeah, so we're going for a Zealot drop into the main base. We're going for a Warp in as well. Oliveira does respond. And can he keep up? We go for the Warp in, and Oliveira, he cannot get on top of it. The Warp in will finish. Zelsei busts into the main base. At the same time, we're diving on top of the main army as well. And Oliveira, he's barely holding on, only losing 3 SCVs. Very impressive. Losing a 4th towards the end. But really good positioning there from Oliveira. Good EMP on the Zealots as well. Speaking of EMP on the Stalkers. And we catch the Immortal. Yeah, big pick off. The Immortal goes down. EMP on the Stalkers. But another Zealot Warpin into the main base. This time getting 7 SCVs. These Zealot Warpins are brutal. Did I say 7 SCVs? 11 workers go down. As Oliveira trying to make sure he doesn't get dragged out of position. Still maintains himself towards his natural. Tank is going to go down. Tank goes down. 13 SCVs as well as Trigger. Does he get another Warpin? He does! Another Warpin into the main base. This one might be a little bit too careless, though. He does get a couple of extra SCVs. Stalkers, they do hit that northern base, though. Oliveira losing too much. 20 workers go down. Finally, we get the Prism. But that Prism more than paid for itself. As Trigger, he's happily mining on 3 bases, getting a 4th up and running as well. Up in economy, and he has Colossi on the way. He's amassing Colossus back at home. Oliveira lost too much. He lost too much at this point. I was gonna say that at this point we may have to just send it across the map, but Oliveira has a CC on the way. So Oliveira, he wants to expand. This is gonna be a rough one for the Terran player. Yeah, we go for the double scan. We get eyes on the Colossus. We get eyes on the fully saturated 4th base. Things are looking a little bit bleak here for Oliveira. Things are looking bleak. As Trigger is pushing. Even within range of the CC, he delays it. Delays the 4th base. Colossus have arrived, and there's no defensive tank line. There's no tanks here, there's no Widow Mines, it's just purely a bio army. No Vikings. We have 2 Vikings on the way, but we need time. As a Colossi, oh, they just rain down on this bio force. Yeah, massive swipes on the Marines. We still on forward, we do get 1 Colossus. But another takes its place. Yeah, we're still on 2. And Oliveira, he's overstimmed. And again, initially Oliveira was defending. Initially he was doing well for himself, but over time he lost too many SCVs to the Zealot harass. The Zealots were just too much. More boys being pulled. 42 SCVs go down. And we do take down one of the Colossi at least, but here come the Zealots. Here come the Zealot reinforcements. 50 SCVs fell. Oliveira down to 30 workers. Technically he still has an army, and we may just push out with this. But Trigger, he's taking another base. He's taking a 5th. No reason not to. Taking a 5th base. Should be getting into a 2nd robo. Warping in. Dark Shrine is on the way. Now, what's a little bit interesting here is that the army supplies are pretty even. And Oliveira, I would say he has a more efficient army overall, so he has potential if he were to push now, but the longer this goes on, the worse it becomes. I mean, Trigger, he has 75 workers. He can just remax and remax again. Oliveira cannot. As Dark Templar, they waddle in. Do we have a scan? We've been muling. We do have a detection, though. 1 DT goes down. Another does slip in. Oliveira does spot this. Do we have a scan? We have an EMP. Good cleanup. 2 DTs for 2 SCVs. Better trade for Oliveira, but oh, the planetary does finish. And there's the GG as we cannot keep up, and Trigger takes game number 1. Whew. GG. A very tense game there, and initially it looked like Oliveira was holding. It looked like initially Oliveira, he was getting away with that gold base, but the Prism, the Warp Prism with the non-stop Zealot Warp-ins, I want to say we warped in like 4, at least 4 rounds of Zealots, maybe 5? I want to say 4 though. So just a massive amount of Zealots in the main and the natural, getting so much worker damage done, pulling away the attention of Oliveira, and eventually Oliveira broke. Eventually he was broken then and there by Trigger. And Trigger, he keeps the dreams alive for Basilisk. The dream is still alive, and here we go, we're getting into game number 2 on Post-U. Here we go. Oliveira from USA? True, true. They do like to claim a little players. Here we go. In the top right hand corner, we have Oliveira for DKZ. And in the bottom left, we have Trigger for Basilisk. Here we go. Remember, Oliveira still needs 1 win. 1 more win here to win it all for his team. For Dragon KaiZi Gaming. Trigger needs to fight back here and now to force that ace match. I see in the chat. Trigger? What? No, Trigger's Canadian, Poppy. What are you on about? Trigger's from Canada. Shaking my head. Dynasty Wars. Exactly, exactly. But here we go. Trigger going for his probe scout across the map. True. The USA is basically in Canada, right? True, true. Canada is NA. It's all the same. It's all the same. Kappa. As Oliveira is going for his Rax Expand. Economic Opener, which makes sense on Post-Youth as we load in. Again, another interesting map here with some wild features. We have a pocket hybrid base, so you can be quite greedy on this map. You can be quite economic and cut some corners. Oliveira going for his Expand, so is Trigger. And Oliveira is going to be following this up, not with a 3rd CC, but with a factory. Ooh, hello there, as Oliveira sending his SV across the map. This looks like a proxy starport. Now, we have seen quite a lot of this actually. So post-youth is a very large map. It's quite difficult to actually scout and keep up with proxies. So going for a proxy starport here, not unheard of on post-youth. Now with a starport, this could be for Liberator Harass or Medivacs. Because of the map, because of how secure your 2-base setup is, it should be Medivacs from Oliveira, assuming that we commit. As the factory does finish, we're going for an add-on swap. There it is, starport is proxy. Now again, because both the main and the natural are protected from one ramp, it's very common here for Proto Spirits to skip warp-ins and to stay on a low army count in general. We're taking up into a Twilight Council, into a Robo, Twilight Council opener. Hellions are moving out. We'll see if Oliveira can get into that mineral line. We shall see. Again, the other option would be Hellion and a Liberator, but on this map, I'm not really loving a Liberator-based opener. There it is. There's the Medivac. Medivac is on the way. Okay. For a moment there, I thought we scouted. I was like, did Trigger see? No. That was Oliveira's SCV moving out. Oh, meanwhile, my apologies. I assumed it was going to be a Blink opener, but Trigger, he's going into a Dark Shrine. That is cool, but also a little bit worrisome. That means we're going to have that many less Stalkers to defend back at home, and this Hellion drop, I believe, will scout the Dark Shrine. We're going in. Here we go. We are diving into that main base. And the probes, do they line up? Ooh, it takes 3 shots to kill a worker. 3 Hellion shots to 1 shot of probe. They do bunch up quite a bit, but we head towards the natural instead. Ooh, hot pickup. Oh my god, Trigger. Very nicely done. Does save the majority of his workers. 2 probes go down. Very nice defense by Trigger. That was close. But what's important, as we mentioned, is that Oliveira did scout the Dark Shrine. He is aware. Hellions coming back in. We still have 3 Hellions. They can still one-shot probes. Speaking of, Hellion volleys going off. We get 2 more workers. I think that's 4 probes in total. Still not good enough though. Still not what we were hoping for. As Trigger is willing to counterattack with those Dark Templar, but the turrets are finishing up just in time. Yeah, the turret is in position. DTs are being focused down. The Prism as well. Ooh. Does escape. Meanwhile, the Hellions, they bust back in. 6 probes. Did I say 6? 7. 8. Can we get 9? We can. Can we get 10? Can we get 11? Not quite, but 10 probe kills. On top of the 4 that we got earlier, 14 probes go down. GG gets called. Game-ending damage there. It wasn't just the worker harass, it was also the Dark Templar not getting any damage done. And Oliveira, he takes the series, and he will win it all for Dragon KaiZi Gaming. GG, well played. Whew, again, really good initial defense by Trigger to save all of his workers with that Warp Prism, very good. But the problem here wasn't just that Trigger lost 14 probes, which was brutal towards the end, but also the fact that his Dark Templar opener, his DT opener, did no damage. He did no damage with his opener, which was brutal there. That delays Blink, that delays our further attack, it delays our third base, like, a brutal position there for Trigger. He does tap out in the end, and congratulations to Dragon KaiZi Gaming. Congratulations. I see in the chats, where is Cyril? Cyril is not going to be competing in WTL. Basilisk, they partnered with ShoWTimE, so ShoWTimE is taking Cyril's place. The reason for this is Cyril is in the military. Cyril is in the military at the moment. Because of that, he's unable to be here on a weekly basis. It's also why Cyril did forfeit his spot in the European regionals for EPT. So, as Cyril's busy with his military, Basilisk, they needed another player to step up, and that other player is ShoWTimE. That other player is ShoWTimE. Just so for as a heads up, that is the reason for it. We may see Cyril for the playoffs. Maybe, it depends. Like, again, it's It's a little bit... It depends on his availability, when he can and can't compete. As we are getting ready here for our next match of the night. We're going to be going on a very short break, and when I say very short, I mean a couple of seconds. Give me a moment to set up for our second matchup of WTL. This time we have caught up with the delay. We're back on top.